We are North Carolina, and we ain't going nowhere.
Get this on film, but we're still. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
No, let me just read the actual rule and pull out the court rule and the judge's rule on testing. The designated areas must allow unobstructed entrance and exit of the chambers, the chapel, and the legislative services by individuals authorized. Is this obstructing? Her sitting there is obstructing? These are your rules. I'm just asking for interpretation, Brock. Is her sitting on that bench obstructing? The designated areas must allow use of the elevators and photocopying station. A lady who is not feeling well sitting on this bench, is that in violation of these rules?
Sir, we still got that. That's not what she's asked. We're going to start it. You want to deal with that? We're going to start our press conference right here while we're dealing with this on the side. What it is, media, Ms. Laws is reading them their actual rules that says the only thing that the judge said is we had to deal with obstructing. A lady wanted to sit on that chair. She's not obstructing any door anyway, and yet she's not being allowed to do that. So we're questioning that issue for our legal purposes. But we're going to go ahead and start our press conference on today, and then we're going to start artistic expressions. Let me get that. Y'all got pictures and everything? Always say your name.
Good evening. I'm Yara Allen, Field Secretary and Cultural Arts Liaison with the North Carolina NAACP. This evening, in this space that has been constitutionally and morally reclaimed as the People's House, artists and supporters of the arts have come together to speak truth to power. We have joined today to raise our collective voices against the harmful and regressive legislation that has come from extremists in office who refuse to govern and legislate for the good of the whole. We stand together and speak the truth that arts in public education supports academic excellence, so we stand against the decision to defund public education. We speak the truth that the arts in America, in North Carolina, has always been diverse, incorporating and embracing music, dance, theater, and visuals of cultural life from other countries around the world. The artistic community is broad and diverse, crossing lines of demarcation between cultures. Therefore, we stand together for fair immigration laws and speak the truth that you yourselves are descendants of immigrants and should be the last to place barriers on those who wish to have the opportunities that you enjoy.
That's right.
As artists, we use our gifts to help heal mind, body, and spirit. Yes. And we come together to stand against the denial of Medicaid expansion for the hundreds of thousands of North Carolinians who are in need. We stand together and we speak the truth that there should be fairness in the criminal justice system, environmental protection, and living wages. Artists have gathered in the rotunda of our house to raise our voices in hues and rhythms and lyrics, in brushstrokes and in melodies. We declare that we will not ignore your refusal to govern and legislate for the good of the whole. As artists, our response to injustice in this state is to employ all of our gifts and our talents, all of our creative energies and resources in the struggle against extreme legislation. We will write poems about the injustice. We will sing about it. We will create dances about it. We will photograph and paint and sketch and tell stories.
Right.
We will blog and create music that will speak to injustice. Yes. We will use our platforms to raise awareness, and we will collaborate with each other and use our talents to organize our communities. Yes. Yes. We stand with the Forward Together Moral Movement and its call for justice, and this Saturday, February 14th in Raleigh, North Carolina. We will march to call for an end to injustice and extreme legislation. I'd like to use my poetic license to close with an addition to one of Dr. King's quotes. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, get down on your knees and crawl, but by all means, keep moving forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Will my Raven grannies hold up the paintings behind you all?
And we will take questions after this presentation.
Just taking yours a little step farther, I'm reminded of the words of Garrison Keillor, who said, "Be careful when you make a writer mad, because he might remember you in ways that you may not appreciate." The arts are the soul of society. The arts are the very soul of any society. Let's pause for a minute and consider the future of our soul, our collective soul. One of our founding fathers, John Adams, is known to have said that he studied politics and law so that his children could study engineering and architecture, so that their children could pursue the arts. George Washington said that to encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. And Thomas Jefferson said, and this is a quote, "I'm an enthusiast on the subject of arts, but it's an enthusiasm of which I am not ashamed, as its object is to improve the taste of my countrymen, to increase their reputation, to reconcile to them the respect of the world, and procure them its praise." America was indeed founded by visionaries who held the arts in the highest regard. American exceptionalism? What is American exceptionalism? Creativity and innovation are what make America exceptional. Nurturing that creativity, the celebration of that creativity, is central to what it means to be American. Nurturing and celebrating creativity from early childhood all the way through grade school and into college is what burgeons forth in many of us, and not all of us, make no mistake. We all know that we excelled in one subject more than in another, and there was always somebody that was just great at something, but not so good at something else. But basically, nurturing and celebrating that artistic creativity in childhood all the way up through school is what burgeons forth in some of us as entrepreneurial innovation, and that creates jobs. Humanities and the liberal arts and public education will improve the economy.
That's right.
All children are born artists until somebody either lets them forget it or worse, squelches their creativity. They only need nurturing and celebrating to continue to flourish, and arts and education is where that happens. Public education for all our children empowers everybody's baby.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's right.
China has been jealous of our school system since way back in the 90s. Did you know they have been studying it and trying to emulate it? Why? Well, America files more patents per year than anywhere else in the world. Yes, not a few more, not twice as many, many multiple times more than the rest of the world, including China with its gigantic population.
We need to do that and then come back later.
Creativity and innovation making America exceptional. A research team at Duke and Harvard surveyed 652 heads of project engineering at 502 technology companies. 37% held degrees in engineering, only 2% in mathematics. The other, what would that leave? 61% had degrees in fields such as art and humanities.
We need to let Aaron, she'll try to jump in. We'll come back and finish.
Okay.
We want to
He
finish
introduce
the
himself.
Aaron,
My name is B.B. Bowman.
there we go. There you go.
So I'm Erin Bird, and I'm standing here today as a mother and as a member of the Wake County community and a cultural artist, and I'm standing because I'm really concerned about how our young people are being treated in the schools, in terms of the school and prison pipeline, and how they're being treated in the community. African American men in particular are over 60% of the prison population, but not as likely to commit a crime as any other community, and a lot of times incarcerated, racially profiled more often, arrested more often, and given longer sentences. And so we feel like that's terribly unjust, and what you're doing is taking young men out of the community in the prime of their lives when they could be earning money to support their communities, and really feel that the prison system is a slave system because they have so many men and women working in prison and not being paid. So I'm standing today with the Moral Monday movement because I'm very concerned about this issue, and this is the place where, and the time where we as citizens of North Carolina can come together and be a part of a resistance that shows people across the country, people in North Carolina and around the world, that in North Carolina we won't stand for this any longer.
Right.
Forward together. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you.
I want the members of the media to know that today these cultural artists, singers, spoken word, visual artists, represent thousands of people around this state that are joining the Forward Together movement and using their gifts to tell the story of extremism and injustice that's going on in this place. We're filming this and streaming this across the nation, across the state, as people are deeply concerned, like B.B. Bowman, about the cuts to public education. As my friend Aaron Bird will tell you quickly, concerned about these draconian reversals on voting rights. We're marching because of the denial of raising minimum wage and living wages and the denial of Medicaid. There's something terribly wrong. The rhythm of this place is off. We're not even following the poetic frameworking that we see in our own Constitution. Listen at that poetry in our Constitution that says, we hold it to be self-evident that all persons are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, enjoyment of the fruit of their own labor, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, that's not being followed right now by the current legislature. Listen at the poetry. Listen at the words, the spoken word of our Constitution in Article 11, Section 4, where it says, beneficent, generous provision to the poor and the unfortunate and the orphan is not the second, third, fourth duty of this state or this General Assembly, but it is supposed to be the first duty of a civilized and a Christian state, according to our Constitution. And so artists are saying that they will use music, they will use poetry, they will use all of the arts to actually help us build a mighty nonviolent army that will continue to protest against what's going on. And I want to personally, because I'm going to be listening to you all today, I'm going to step out there, but I want to personally thank you. People all over the state and the country will hear your songs, your spoken word. This is the People's House, this is the Rotunda, and since I'm closing for this press conference, I want to stop here and see if there are any questions from members of the media for other artists that are here. Are there any questions from members of the media? Again, we don't know about whether or not there'll be arrest, but we are going to arrest the attention of this nation and the attention of this state.
Thank you, everybody.
On the morrow, people will come here from labor and young people fighting for a living wage and minimum wage. On Thursday, right here, there's going to be a die-in. People are going to lay down in this building and expose what's happening by people not receiving Medicaid and the thousands of people, maybe 2,000 people last year that died right here. And then on Friday, there's going to be a special forum where scholars are going to come together and expose how the cuts in education and all of these other cuts are connected and how they are violating the very policies that these legislators swore, many of them, to uphold. And we're calling on Speaker Moore, we're calling on Senate Leader Berger to stop creating the disharmony, as Dr. King would say, the jangling discords of injustice, and let's come together in the beautiful harmony of love and justice and righteousness for all people. Are there any questions from the media? If there are not any questions from members of the media, as Ms. Allen, as you bring other people up, I just want to drop a poem that's 6,000 years old. How about that?
That's all right.
Well, it's actually 3,000 years old. And I want to drop it, though, I want to drop it in modern day language. It goes like this. Shout, A full-throated shout, hold nothing back, a trumpet blast, tell my people what's wrong with their lives, face my family Jacob with their sins. Yes, they are busy, they are busy, they are busy at worship. They love studying all about me. They love putting their hand on the Bible. To all appearances, they are a nation of right living people, law-abiding, God-honoring. They ask me all the time, what's the right thing to do? They love having me on their side, but they also complain, why do we fast and you don't look our way? Why do we humble ourselves and you don't even notice? Well, here's why. The bottom line is on your fast day, your so-called religious day, you still drive your employees too hard. On those days, at the same time, you bicker and you fight. Yes, you like to look religious, but you swing a mean fist. Oh yeah, this kind of fasting you do, but it won't even get your prayers off the ground. Do you think this is the kind of fast that God is looking for, that I'm after? You think what I want you to do is act like you're humble in public, but then harm people every chance you get? You think what I want is for you to put on a pious long faith and then parade around like you're so religious? And do you think this is the fasting? Do you think this is what the spirit of eternity like? No, no, no. This is the kind of fast that I'm after. You really want to please me? Then you break the chains of injustice. You really want to please me? Then get rid of exploitation in the workplace. You really want to please me? Then let the oppressed go and cancel the debt. What I'm interested in is seeing you share your food with the hungry. I want to see you invite the homeless, poor into your homes and look out for them. I want to see you put clothes on the shivering ill-clad. In fact, I want to see you be available to your own families. Now, if you do this, then the light will come on. If you do this, then your lives will turn around. If you do this, then your righteousness will pave the way. If you do this, then God, yes, I will secure what you're doing. Then you do this, and when you pray, I'll hear you. But if you don't, I don't even hear what you're saying. You really want to please me? Then get rid of your unfair practices. Pay people what they deserve. Quit blaming the victim. Quit gossiping about other people's sins. If you're generous with the hungry and you start giving to the down and out, then your lives will glow in the darkness. Your nation will come alive. If you give a full life to the emptiest of places, then all of a sudden your state, your nation will become strong. Your muscles will become strong. And then you will look like a well-watered garden rather than a dry desert. And then springs will break out all over the place. And then if you do this, if you help people, then you can take rubble and rebuild the nation and rebuild the state. And if you do this, when history is written, then if you help the poor, then if you release oppressed, then if you do right, then, and only then will you be known as those who can fix anything, those who can restore the old ruins, those who can rebuild and renovate and make community livable again. But this will not happen until you learn how to fast like I say and stop doing injustice and do what is right.
It's called We've Come Too Far, We Can't Turn Around. And this is dedicated to Jane Sapp, who is a freedom fighter and a cultural artist out of Atlanta. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. Has anybody ever heard that? Okay, sing it with me. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. One more time. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. So just for your information, it's around, right? We have come too far, we can't turn around. We have come too far. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you guys know what around is?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all want to try it out? Okay, so group 2, group 1. See how I did that? Sometimes you got to go down. Okay. All right. Start it off for me. We have come too far, we can't turn around. Go to the streets with justice while we can't turn around. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom round. We'll flood the streets with justice, while we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. You like that? Right. So here's the poem. We've come too far, we can't turn around. From bodies hanging beneath stars to building the Underground Railroad to stories untold of sacrifice and struggle, from picking cotton to picking presidents, of fighting and forging ahead, of new movements led by young people sitting in and chanting and marching to chart a path to our liberation. We've come too far, we can't turn around. But there's no rest for the weary. I call out, can you hear me? We're caging a generation. Can't you hear their voices? Drowned out by choices like materialism over realism, and reality TV over community, and gangster rap over unity, and music without a message, and messages without substance, leading us down a dark road like sheep to slaughter. But I've come too far, we can't turn around. But where are we going? Broken families and token leadership. Being smart isn't as cool as staying in school. We're spending our whole lives. Well, let me start that again. Being smart isn't as cool as dropping out of school and spending your whole lives without education and low wages while a whole generation waits away in cages. We're dealing with attacks from the outside and we're fighting from within. If we don't come together, we're never going to win. Truth is, no one can let us go. We've locked ourselves in, and if we're held down, it's because we're on our knees. Our culture of violence and greed stamps out our destiny, and some of us will stab each other in the back before giving a handout and helping somebody else up. And we blame everybody else before we woman or man up. When we've come too far, we can't turn around. Folks, we're in a fight for hearts and minds against forces that want to leave us behind and dismantle systems we need like education and build new systems to hold us. Incarceration, a nation of slave plantations, and they call it justice. I see justice rolling down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. And just between us, I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I dream of freedom, of my sisters and brothers, that they'll walk out free and non-violent drug offenses no longer a reason for their captivity. And we'll make them see the error of their ways, because the only reason we have prisons is because prisons pay. There ain't no restoration in a nation of slave plantations. We've come too far, we can't turn around. We got to build up new leaders to stand their ground, and we have to tell our children their legacy of struggle so they hear a new sound that resounds with new music of equity and inclusion. We need unions in our communities. We need unions in our communities. We must all stand together. We are all in this together.
That's right.
Your destiny is tied with mine.
Yes.
And my salvation is tied to yours, and our futures are intertwined.
Yes.
We've come too far, we can't turn around. We've come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice. We are.
We're marching on for justice.
All right.
And we are marching in love. We're marching on for justice. And we are marching in love. Y'all get it? We're marching on for justice. And we are for justice, and we are marching in love. That's all right. We shall be heard. We shall be heard. For we want justice, and we shall be heard. We won't be stopped. We won't give in. For we want justice, and we shall be heard. What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Yes, we shall be heard. We won't be stopped. We won't give in, for we want
Justice!
Let's try it again, for we want
Justice!
We shall not hide behind the mask, hide, tremble, or sit back in apathy as though we are not a combined force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
No, we shall not hide behind the mask, or are we expected to submit? Submit to the notion of, that's just the way it is.
No.
Submit, say it again. No. A resounding no. Submit as they deny health care. Submit as they starve the public school system.
No.
Submit
No.
as they hurt the jobless.
No.
Submit as they rig the elections. Preach.
No.
What do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
We shall not rest on our haunches as though we are unaware of the streets that were stained red with blood by those who paved the way before us, by those who paved the way for us. For that we shall not forget. For that we press forward. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now! Yeah!
Hang on to the world as it spins around. And around as history repeats itself until we learn from our mistakes and put the past in its place and do what we all know is the right thing to do for the good of the human race.
Yes.
Face it, there's no morality in the fallacy of this legislative fatality. Sacrificing the poor to the wealthy as a way to make the economy healthy? Come on, bro. Politicians poaching the pockets of the paupers ain't living in reality.
Oh!
Yes, say that.
Take away their ability to vote you out for your acts of criminality. And then send your armed guards after me, trying to step up and battle me.
All right.
Lieutenant Martin Brock is babbling, and like Manju said, we shouldn't have to express our rights at the permission of the cavalry. Making them use their authority to make me bow. It's unconstitutional, the Reverend's gonna tell you how. Then you're quiet, looking foolish like a clown. Just don't let the spin get you down.
That's right.
We got their attention through rhythm and sound. And if they ignore our protest, we'll shut the whole thing down. Because they paid no mind to our petitions. They arrested us because we didn't ask permission to come to the people's house and protest their bad decisions. Selling out your constituents ain't worth the amount of your Koch brothers and Art Pope commissions. America listens to the people with a strong moral vision. And they see your hypocrisy with great precision. Like how you say you're pro-life and then let 2,800 people die because you don't want them to afford it. And let college students live homeless because they spend every cent just to be able to go to class. And then you turn around and punish the people who got hit the hardest to reward those who need the least and whose greedy, reckless behavior was the very thing that caused the economy to crash. Why did you trade your soul for Art Pope's cash? Things are moving fast. The people's consciousness is growing, and your illegitimate power won't last. Because this movement is led by we, the young people, and we will outlast. Like that song, Slody Odie Dopalicious by Outkast. John Mayer's waiting on the world to change, but the young and the old school boys and girls are making the change. You're at the end of a short term. We're thinking long range.
That's right.
The people's will is pounding the walls and the ceiling like a strong rain. People are working more hours than ever, but the rich are seeing all the gains. They take all the money from the schools, and the teachers are taking all the blame. Their Republicans and their Democrats are looking all the same. Leaving Art Pope's office doing a walk of shame. Our capacity to allow this to continue is reaching a critical mass, and it's time for someone else to take the reins and bust through a seal in this glass. No more puppet politicians with Art Pope's hand up there, but hold on tight! And you Now everybody's in this and we're having a blast. We're Buddhists and Muslims and Jews and atheists, Protestants and Catholics going to Mass, and we're all up here demanding and sharing the same stage. We want a $15 an hour minimum wage.
That's right.
We want to have our ballots counted and not delayed.
That's right.
Like a million people requesting a song that the DJ still didn't play.
Come on now.
And when they ran the people over, they thought they pulled up a tree, but all their actions did was plant and water the seed. We organize a movement while simultaneously raising our kids and working on a college degree. You arrest us one time, we'll bring our friends with us for arrests numbers 2 and 3.
Wow.
Take it from me. On which side do you want to be? With a legislature with an approval rating below 19%?
Wow.
Or with a moral movement that's urging the oligarchy to repent? With the side described in Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, woe be unto those who legislate evil.
Yeah.
Or with the side described in Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, and they shall fly upon wings like eagles.
Yes.
There's no diminishing our power, because ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. You see? Take it from me. Someday we'll all be free.
My name is Freddie Green, also Street Genie. Through jazz has been deemed as the most freest form of expression in music. So I'm going to blow through jazz, freedom, freedom.
That's it. Sound like the people mourning.
This crowd is our friends, and so I don't think I need to tell you why we're here or why we'll be marching on Saturday. I had some remarks about that, but I think our song will speak for itself. I'll just make it really short. We'd rather be home baking cookies for our grandkids, you know, but we understand, we really do, that if we're ever to create a just and sustainable future for them and for all the children of North Carolina, we've got to get out and sing out against the dangerous policies that are being proposed in this very space. We joined the Moral Monday movement. We've been to jail for justice. We'll be with all of you on Saturday at HK on J, and we'll keep on raging as long as our health allows us to, because we owe it to our grandkids to leave them a sustainable world of peace and justice. So forward together.
Not one step
back. I'm going to bring down. Okay. Where the raging grannies and it's turning our hair gray to think that legislators still might take our rights away. We fought these fights before and now we fight again today. Not one step back, no way. No more citizens arrested. For 50 years now we protested, and we're not gonna let them take our hard-earned rights away. Not
I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you. I love you, dear. Thank you. To live a lifestyle worthwhile, there must be justice for the red child, for the brown child, and the black child to be profiled. We challenge oppressive decrees and hypocrisy. Obviously, they make a mockery of their own so-called democracy. Unjust laws, societal flaws, divisional walls must fall, y'all. Our moral cause is not small, and it will not pause until there's justice for all.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
500,000 North Carolinians denied Medicaid. Somebody lied. Somebody was paid. We the people were played as 2,800 ended up in their graves. 1.7 million North Carolinians are poverty-stricken, with over 600,000 at-risk children. The only thing these children are given are more classism, more racism, out-of-school suspension, and a system that kills them or steers them toward an uncivilized, privatized pipeline to prison. But we are not all dead. Instead, we have risen. We've risen because divisive politicians have failed to listen. They failed the children. They swore on Bibles as if they were Christian, but have driven the system to an ungodly mission. Pay attention. Pay attention. No matter what we lack or how the deck was stacked, we resist this attack. So brown, yellow, red, white, and black, we're going forward together.
Not one step back.
If we are going to call North Carolina home,
we're talking to the normal. Now anybody could just
then we
complain and
must
say
be
they don't
strong
like it.
and right what is wrong.
So if they complain,
we rise to end the atrocity of poverty. Politicians are accountable regardless of policy.
They say that they can't
Whether
conduct
green
state
party
business.
or mean tea party.
So I'm asking you.
GOP.
But we don't know what that means. Anybody could say that. They could just say that. I mean, they could just say we don't like what's going on in Utah.
Every policy.
Y'all figure out that with our attorneys. We're going to do what we do.
Like workers' rights and livable wages.
We were told that we couldn't raise it. Nobody's doing the change. That's true. Nobody's doing it.
Healthcare. Woman, child, man, and environmental protection that will even protect the land. Under each law, we demand equal protection. Voter expansion, not voter suppression. Martyrs led through bloodshed for the Voting Rights Act. They went forward together.
Not one step back.
We are indigenously led to resist this tea-drinking, non-thinking, ship-sinking politics. We resist every trick. We resist every lie. We resist until we die. Together in a movement, not a moment. We love being in a movement, major components, and agenda with a vision of a moral nation, a coalition of
and we can't follow your advice unless we are clear on exactly what you're advising us on.
When they plan to be free, we work, we fight harder and harder with movement scholars like our own scholar, Reverend Dr. William J. Barr. The second, a force to be reckoned, and a blessing with many competent leaders who are stepping up in a time like this to enlist activists and academic strategists. No paralysis of analysis, but through empirical data we battle, and would be remiss if we did not rally this and fight this unrighteous injustice. Calling good shepherds to protect the weak, to protect the sheep, to take your love to the streets, to love our neighbor through the pursuit of liberation, no matter of gender or sexual orientation. The armor of the universe is known for being long. It bends toward justice, toward right, not wrong. We are on the right side of God, on the right side of history. We raise the banner of love, justice, and morality. Historic thousands on Jones Street, HK on J. We stood is Moral Monday, but we fought every day under the Fall Together Moral Movement umbrella. We serve as shelter for a societal stormy weather. We are a movement engine, like a train on the track. We go forward together, not one step back.
Yes, sir, So we just, while Reverend Gatewood was spitting, that right, language. We got somebody had this ambiguous complaint, noise complaint. We asked the questions, what does that mean? They said, lower your voice. Anybody could just not like what we're doing because they don't like the noise of freedom. And they could just say it, and just because they complain does not legitimate. And plus, we cannot find in the Constitution a level
That's right.
like that says you can only complain like this.
That's right.
And if you complain this loud, and if you bother anybody, then you're violating their rights.
That's right.
You know, that's not in the Constitution. It's the people's house. This is a public forum. The judges have said we're not obstructing. Now they've also said that if they arrest somebody, they're going to arrest whoever's the loudest. Well, I don't know what that means. They said the building's going to close. We already know that. We did not come here today, and I want to emphasize today, to do civil disobedience. Now, we may very well come on a day to deliberately do civil disobedience. We are trying to comply, but if compliance means we got to give up our First Amendment right, I'm not ready to do that, Vicky. I'm just not. So we're going to finish what we got to do. It's going all out. We want y'all to tell everybody about Saturday, ask you to come back here tomorrow, and especially Thursday. Because the folk that are going to die in, they're not going to say anything, so I wonder if that about it. But who's next? Who's next?
My name is Latia Powell, and I stand on behalf of the educators. I was a teacher for 13 years, and I saw firsthand what the injustice did to our students. I spent many days copying textbooks. I spent many days giving out lunch money. I spent many days creating songs and creating things artistic for kids to do because the art wasn't present. I was a child of the arts. When I was in school, it was free, and we had band 3-4 times a week. I wouldn't be who I was today if it wasn't for the arts. So to see my students suffer through that for 13 years is truly an injustice.
Yes, it is.
So, and this is one of the songs that we used to sing during Black History Month when we would study the civil rights. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. I want you to know that these children that are affected by these laws are real. There are many kids that they may have one meal at home, but they're not able to eat. They're able to have a meal at school, but they're not able to eat at home. There are kids that don't have the supplies they need at home to do the work that is required. I've been in many meetings where the requirements were so high that my students were stressed out because they didn't have any help. There are no programs set in place to help kids that need it the most. Everybody doesn't have a parent that can sit at home and tutor them. Some of these kids go home alone. So as the money goes away, our kids lose the strength that they need to be our leaders. What we're doing is we're dumbing down the doctors. We're dumbing down the future lawyers. We're dumbing down the future policemen. We're dumbing down the future leaders that are going to make the decisions for us when we can't take care of ourselves. So that's just something to think about. I've taught children that lived with boards on their windows, and I've taught children that live in houses bigger than this. So education should be equal for all because all children matter.
Shepardson. I stand here as an advocate, and not only an advocate, but also an artist for justice. I am a poet, and everything that does not affect me directly doesn't mean that it does not affect me. Yes. So I am here simply as a mouthpiece for those that may not be able to speak and advocate for themselves. We're marching once again for the same cause with different friends. Well, may we rise once again. Oh God, our friend, please avenge us. Oh God, our friend, please defend us. We're marching once again for the same cause with different friends. Oh, may we rise once again. Oh God, our friend, please avenge us. Oh God, our friend, please defend us. We're marching, 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 marching. 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 I am not God, nor will I ever proclaim to be. However, I too have been a part of many crucifixions, not by the nails in my hands or my feet, but by the words you speak, by the commandments you forsake and the judgments you keep, by the fruit of your lips, your savor diction, your glorified fiction, your corrupt depictions. I mean the words you use. The words you use have been slowly incriminating, yet it's God you pretend to be imitating. These are the facts that I am just clearly stating. Just as the seasons, your works are slowly fading. You thought your laws and your religiosity could stop me. Well, your laws and your religiosity could not possibly hinder the God in me. Yes. I will admit that your humanity candidly put a demand on me, and me believe that diabolical entities could witness to me, and me forget whoever the Son set free was so free indeed. So to my own self, I begin to prophesy. I begin to prophesy that I will live and not die. So dear world, go right ahead and label me. Disable me with the sorcery of what you believe. Give me a baby daddy, a project to live in, and maybe even a corner on the street. Because I know that you don't believe in me. Because you breathe into me with your own insecurities, telling me about the world and who they say that I should be. As they create body forms of Barbie and Ken, anorexic mind, bodies of sin made thin just to be used by men. Now you don't believe in me, and neither does he, because he told me if I would have bought the baby that he will make me his lady. And now I'm left alone without my seed or my ring. And my mother takes me to a church service and she said, baby girl, I want you to sing about the king they call king. Well, mama, a service can't service this. I need to be treated equal, because when they prayed for me, they prayed that I wouldn't become anything. Matter of fact, you prayed that I become a statistic. Hey, yo, somebody get a pen. Write this down. Write this down so they won't miss this. See, I know that I was born to fly. So when you prophesied, God prophesied, and when you saw me fall, he said, still shall rise. So even in my first demise, the very light that you hid under a bushel, the very one that you disguised, the one that you despised became a workmanship of God's hands and a star in the sky. Yes. And that's how I know that y'all know where y'all? What? I was created to say what they think should be said. Yeah, I was created to feed the mouths they think should be fed. Yeah, I was created to heal the sick but raise the dead. I was created to sit at the tables with sinners and eat their food and break their bread. I was created to do what they merely think should be done. I was created to free the souls they think should be freed. I was created to create belief that they can only in their internal mind believe. See, I was created with no limitations, with multiple dimensions. My words was meant to be spoken on man's streets and in their conventions, to loose every man's tension, not to mention I was created to be the epitome of God's favor. For my blessings, your labor. I was created to bring the rain and cease the drought. You call on me and I'll call you out. I am your worst nightmare. I'm the angel you dreamed about. So please keep praying for me. Please keep praying for me. See, I will continue no matter what you do or you say. Keep praying for me. Can I get some praying hands? Can I get some praying hands? No matter what they do,
long as people keep praying, there is a God in the air right beside us that will hear. It doesn't matter if they pray for us or against us. God said if he is for us, who can be against us? I'm a spiritual vigilante. They can take their hands and try to constrain us, but God, if God be for us, who can be against us?
That's right. So we've been told that we're near 5, and they claim that this year, all of a sudden, they're closing the building at 5. We know that if there's any legislator here or any committee person here, the building's supposed to stay open until they're open. Now here's the challenge. We don't know who's here or who's not. They're telling us everybody's gone. We can't reach our friends. We got 2 more people that are gonna do their thing, you know. And this is really the test. Mr. Brock is saying we gotta be out at 5. We told, you know, they're trying to make us, we're not planning to get arrested today. Can y'all say today? Today. But how many of y'all are gonna organize for Saturday? We're gonna be there. And how many of you, when the call really comes back to start having Moral Mondays and filling up this place, you're gonna be back? So no matter what they do today, we're not discouraged because we got a whole lot going. Now my sister, you got one, right? Yes, sir. And Lindsay, you got this last. Love Army's got something. So this is what we're gonna do. Well, is this time up? Is he giving me my warning? Okay, so we're gonna walk this way and go out the building. Come on, and as we're going, can you drop while we're going? Come on, come on. And so everybody line up 2 by 2.
Whose house?
Where's she at? We going out the building.
I'm right here.
Come right here to the front. John, after she does, you drop the song. Okay. We're going out. We're going to comply today, but we're not saying that we're going to comply always, particularly if these policies don't change. Yeah. We'll be back. Somebody grab my coat for me. Down there on the floor. Yeah.
Forward together, not one step back. We attack. We attack all injustices near and far. We proudly proclaim our allegiance to the disenfranchised. We attack all attempts to silence the less fortunate. We attack the civil disobedience, sit-ins, walk-ins, petitions, and prayer vigils. We attack the school-to-prison pipelines. We attack with increased parental involvement, with fewer neighborhood schools. We attack by demanding more raises for teachers and returning teachers' aides to the classroom. Forward together, not one step back. We attack. We attack the all-white male political machine that feeds off of our labor like leeches on a host. We will attack by refusing to patronize their businesses. We will attack by becoming more politically educated. We attack by creating phone trees, calling on our Congress members, Senate members, and local government. Their offices will be inundated with our demands. We will attack voter suppression laws that we allegedly...
Exit day, right? We'll go this one. We'll do this one.
That were allegedly passed to stop voter fraud, when studies show there was no proof of such. We will attack these laws with workshops, outreach programs, and working in tandem with the ACLU. Forward together, not one step back. We attack. We attack for the love of our families, our friends, neighbors, co-workers, and associates. We attack for the love of our future and the future of our children. We attack for the love of righteousness and freedom.
That's right.
We attack because people that stand for nothing will fall for anything. Forward together, not one step back. We attack. All right. Woo! Whose house? Our house. 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 Whose house? Our house.
All right, we're gonna do an NC Music Love Army song. We need y'all to sing.
sing it with us. This is from More on Monday. Who's going to help us out? Make some noise. All right, we're proud to be here.
Wait. The older ones are slow.
Hold up, stop. Okay, hold up, y'all, a little bit. We're losing some folks. All right, we're going to go ahead and get it started. This is NC Music Love Army song. We're proud to be here supporting Reverend Barber. Proud to be here with the NAACP. This goes a little something like this. We're going to sing a line. We're going to sing, tell somebody about this fight.
We've got something to say.
Tell somebody the time is right.
We've got something to say.
We're going to sing, hey, we got going away. All right. Tell somebody that fracking kills.
We got something to say.
Yeah, spread that list of chemicals.
We got something to say.
Say, hey,
we got something to say.
Sick and tired of these guns in schools.
We got something to say.
And I'm sick and tired of these funerals.
We got something to say.
Say, hey.
World. We got something to say.
What about all the boys and girls?
We got something to say.
What do y'all say?
Hey, we're not going away.
Tell them voter ID is old Jim Crow.
We got something to say.
Man, we've already been down that road.
We got something to say.
We say, hey. So tell somebody about this fight.
We got something to say.
Man, tell somebody the time is right.
We got something to say.
Say,
hey, we're not going away. Hey, we're not going away.
Tell somebody the time is right.
We got something to say.
We say, hey,
we're not going away.
One more time. Tell somebody the fracking kills.
We've got something to say.
Well, let's spread that list of chemicals.
We've got something to say.
We say, hey,
we're not going away.
One more time, hey.
We're not going away.
So I want y'all to know that when we walked out today, that is not bowing.
That's right.
We are testing, our attorneys are there, they're going to court. Now, there's going to be a time that we're not going to leave, but we're going to give them a chance, because in civil disobedience, you always tell them what you want, then you got to give them a chance to either pass it or not pass it. Then if they don't do it, then that's when you say, okay, for a conscious reason, I can't accept your law. And so that's exactly what we're doing. And I want to thank you all. Before my dear sister finishes us out today, we got two more. Good. So we got two more. Y'all mind? Let's do it. And let's thank Sister Yara for organizing. Tomorrow is labor minimum wage. Please get folk out. We want to fill up those rafters on Thursday for the die-in. If some of you want to participate in it, come ready. We're looking for at least 50 people that will do that on Thursday as a sign of the 500,000. John got his album. Y'all know about it. If you see it online, help them out. They're doing some great work. And all of you all that were spitting today, you know I'm old, it takes me time to say that. So I used to get slapped in the mouth for saying spit. So, you know, but all of y'all that take your, if you got one line, I want to give a tribute to you. If you got one line, like anorexic minds and anorexic schools, that you think is right, send that to Yara to get to me. What I'm going to do is drop that in my final remarks, and I'm going to give a shout out to the spoken word artist, okay? Or a line from a song. Y'all just send it, and we gonna just send me one now, one of your best. You know, one of your best, and just send it to us.
Thank you.
Train of thoughts. And my sister, you next? Okay.
It is an honor to be here. When I spoke with Yara, and I actually explained to her that I relocated to Georgia. And while in Georgia, I had to be still and listen to God. And somehow or another, he brought me right back here. So, and I'm here for a reason and a purpose. Yes. And I see it. You know, we still got work to do.
Yes, that's right.
And right before I came, I had something totally opposite to say. And I opened up this email, and I just smashed print probably at 4:10 before arriving here. So I'm going to share this with you because someone sent me an email about the death of the strong black woman. And this is what God put on my heart. I revised it, and I'm going to introduce it to you my way. While struggling with the reality of being human instead of a myth, the strong black woman passed away. They say she no longer exists. Medical sources say she died of natural causes, but those who knew her knew better. She died because she lost at the hand that life dealt her. She died from being silent when she should have been screaming, smiling when she should have been raging, from being sick and not wanting others to know because she didn't want to be a burden. But Medicaid cut her off and she was truly hurting. She died from an overdose of people clinging on to her when she didn't even have the strength for herself. She died because she loved herself to death. See, she died from loving men who couldn't love her back. But how could they when they were under attack? She died from raising her children all alone. She died from the heartaches of Trayvon and Mike not coming home. She died when her daughters were not learning from the lessons she taught. She died because the world told her her daughter was a thought. She died because the lies of her mothers and grandmothers told her about life, men, and racism. She died because she was sexually abused as a child and the guilt almost killed her. She died because they told her, what are you thinking of? Black woman, you're not even worthy of love. She died from keeping secrets that burned away at her soul. She died from having a nervous breakdown, but that was something only them other women could afford. She died from hiding her real feelings, and today became so hard and bitter, invading her breast and womb like angry tumors. Cancer is what killed her. She died from wanting to be educated, and then her debts kept her enslaved, and Sally Mae was supposed to be her friend, but she told everybody about the money she lent. She died from being too black and then died over again because she wasn't black enough. She died because she had no idea this life was going to be this tough. She died from being misinformed about her mind, body, spirit, and soul. She died because giving up herself, she had to gain her heart whole. She died because men that looked like her never wanted a woman that looked like me. I was a soul sister and my hair was a little bit too nappy. And she died from being stomped to death by racism and sexism. Her real cause of death, this woman died of an aneurysm, causing her blood vessels to burst from this generational curse that she couldn't walk away from. She died because one day she believed we can truly overcome, but she was too busy carrying the family in her belly, the community on her head, the race on her back. She died because she was too strong and she was too black. Well, I want you to rest in peace because you deserve to be preserved and protected. You didn't die in vain because through me you shall be resurrected.
Vote 10 this evening. Who next up? All right, my man. Give it up.
My name is Jamie Sohn, and I'm here because I did have music in my schools, and I'm proud to have been a vocal music minor, and those words were just absolutely amazing. So here's words of hope for the state.
That's right.
Morning glow starts to glimmer when you know winds change are set to blow and sweep this whole state through. Morning glow is long past due.
That's right.
Morning glow, fill the earth. Come and shine for all your worth. We'll be present at the birth of all faith looking new. Morning glow is long past due. Oh, morning glow, we'd like to help you grow. And we've started long ago. So morning glow all day long. We will sing tomorrow's song. Never knew we could be so strong, but now it's very clear. Morning glow is almost here. Morning glow, by your light, we will make the new day bright, and the phantoms of the night will fade into the past. Morning glow is here at last. Beautiful. Woo-hoo!
So my name is Barbara Smalley McMahon, and we are all gathered here today because people are dying. People are being found hanging in playgrounds with their cases going uninvestigated. We're here because North Carolinians are hurting. And it's time to awaken, awaken. Waves wailing in darkness. Light far behind. Ocean floor cracking and clashing. No peace of mind. Tell us, where's the divine? Gentle manatee, lifeless, trapped in rope to pier moored. Soft jellyfish swimming. Fragile flesh, ripped and torn. Mourn, 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 oceans mourn. Tumultuous churning where life's being torn. Life, death, beginning and end. End and beginning. Beginning again. Lives lost, lying limp in trees with lush branches, while those near drowning grasp for hanging vines. All cry out for compassion from the masses.
Yes.
Praying, we've known the tenderness in the womb of the divine.
Yes.
Groan, 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 oceans groan, groan to awaken us. Loving, reborn, time, a gift of God's essence. Trust, a crucial part of our faith. Let go of all struggling. accept and await. For Kairos is coming.
Kairos.
With horn to sound the wake. For lives lost on ocean floor and now entombed for justice' sake. So be forewarned, split oceans clashing about, for truly your footings aren't sound. You've failed us and you fall us, and though you don't care, finally we're all going down. Down, down, let us go down. Down, down, for there's solid ground, especially where life's ripped and torn, and God hears the faithful crying out in the night. Kairos, Kairos, pray come. Awaken, awaken, let our lost children be mourned. Awaken, awaken, where all our burdens are borne. Borne by each other and borne all by ourselves. Born in the lonely depths of darkness where the deep water dwells, and where holy cacophony sings and cries on cracked floors. At the wailing wall of history where the Spirit says no more to all who lack mercy and love. So let all false powers topple.
Oh my.
As the seas churn and roar, and then in the morning of our losses, calm and soften their core. Soften, soften, till all God's people find our ease and know the balm of grieving that's so crucial for peace. Peace at the bottom, where to false heights we say no. Peace in dark, deep waters where our God dares to go. Yes. Where joy born of sorrows even earth cannot shake. Nor our delicious grievances ever cause us to forsake. Awaken, 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 awake. Awaken, awaken. It's never too late.
Never too late.
For no writhing waters will ever weaken our bones, 'cause there's holy marrow in them, and we're all going home. Beginnings and endings, endings that begin, beginnings and endings beginning again. This time, together. Forward together.
Not one step back. Okay. So with last one, come on in. Come everybody, come in some. Come in close. Come in close, close. This is the last one. Come in close. You know they wouldn't be putting y'all out if you weren't making a difference, right? You understand that's big. That they got to do all of that. And let me tell y'all something I didn't tell you. The reason I walked out that way is because as long as somebody was in the building, he couldn't arrest us. So I walked out by the officers. Intentionally. Yeah, because if we'd have come down the other way, see, we wouldn't have seen. Right. But once we went that way, you notice they went away, right? That's because people in the office. So some of us a little devious at times.
That's right.
Yeah. Come on, who's next?
Just before, because CJ is going to close us out. Vicky is going to have a remark that she didn't do at the press conference.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted, especially for my sister grannies who are finding it harder and harder to stand in the cold, to just make sure that we understand why we are here today and why we will be there on Saturday and why we are so impassioned to invite the rest of you to come and join us. You know, 51 years ago, and I'm giving away my age, but that's okay. Many of us traveled to Washington for the March for Jobs and Freedom. We stood in that hot sun and we listened as Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis and others inspired us to join in the struggle to eradicate once and for all the triple threats of racism, capitalism, and militarism. So we bundled our babies on our backs and we marched and we lobbied for peace and justice, for equal protection under the law and an end to Jim Crow, and for the rights of women to control our own bodies. We cheered as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 65, and the Roe v. Wade decision of 73 were passed into law. And we haven't been quiet in the years since then. We protested as our nation's resources continued to be squandered on endless wars instead of on education, jobs, health care, and a sustainable environment for our children. And now, again, despite the protections afforded to us by our Constitution, we've been called again to protest as one by one the civil liberties and the rights we fought for are being stripped away by our corporate-sponsored politicians. So, as I said before, while we'd rather be home baking cookies for our grandkids, we understand that if we're ever to create a just and sustainable future for them and for the children of North Carolina, we must get out, we must sing out against the dangerous policies being proposed here today. So we will see you all on Saturday. Be there.
Vicky, before y'all, I know something you said, some of the late, come in here, I ain't gonna call y'all grand, but come on in here, the Ragers. I know the grand has come on, but I want us to really hear something in this moment, and thank you, because, see, I'm one of your children.
You were born the week we were in
That's
Washington.
Right. I was born 2 days after. And I think we all ought to understand that we're their children. And what's important is when you have there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about Pentecost, the power of the Spirit. And it says that when the old and the young come together, then the scripture says, this is that the Lord proclaimed. And when that word was first spoken, it was spoken in a time of injustice. And people like to keep us apart, but when we can come together, you know, and that's what this moment, I believe, is calling on those who fought before to suit up one more time.
Yeah.
And those who are living off of what you fought to suit up for the first time.
Yeah.
And if all of us get suited up together and stand together.
What a powerful noise.
What a powerful noise. So we want to thank you, but the best honor we can give to those who fought, you were there. The best honor we can give is to say to you, together we're going to fight this thing together in this time. Thank you all.
Power to the people.
Give them a big hand, y'all. Right. Give them a big hand. We got one more to drop. Where's one? CJ right here, do your thing. Right. Come on, Doc. Close it out, CJ. Stay close if you can.
Yeah, I'm cold. You give me some more.
Come on in.
We can help you for warmth, you know.
Oh, that's the Chapel Hill ball. No. Your auntie over there, she went to school with your dad.
So I'm from a little town down the street called Chapel Hill. Though I'm not the face that you probably would see on the brochure for that place. I have had the unique experience of, or not unique experience of growing up in a place that is bubbling with this sort of tension that we see sort of coming to a head in places like Ferguson. And so this poem, this piece is a reflection on so it has a couple different titles, let's just put it that way. One, how to hide in plain sight. 2, how not to be seen in public. Title 3, how to make white people feel comfortable.
We appreciate that.
A couple rules never change. 1 second, I don't want to be disrespectful. So real quick before I start, I'd like to say this is in the name of all brown black boys movement across the world who've been shot down. So in the name of Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Oscar Grant, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, Ezell Ford, Tyree Woodson, Victor Wright, Jordan Baker, and Jonathan Farrell, and countless names, Lacey Lennon, right, that we cannot, like, we'd be here all afternoon, right? But I stand here as a representation of those people still alive. And so in this space, I hold that space, and I want to be conscious of holding that space. So, how to hide in plain sight. How not to be seen in public. Couple rules never change. Be polite. Yes, ma'am, no sir will get you far in life, right? Freedom, right? Always make direct eye contact. Shifty eyes make you seem guarded, and we all know there's no historical foundations for such social apprehension. 3, remember who you are to them and what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. Understand that you are always products of our environment. Freedom here in this country is a box, glass cased. We are tapping and looking at the colors. Dream we be Rockefeller, trying to find a way to redefine the defined, uncage, amaze. Speak like you got some sense, boy. Here we are, in the now. Present and counted, half whole, all this free will and no recess, daydreaming out windows like children studying freedom in a glass box. And what to say of freedom? What to say of chains and fields and sharecropping? What to say of silence, of a people practice at turning their heads, revolve around the steeple like a halo of eagles, feathers falling on the people. I dreamed of a king and woke up on mountain tops, wheezing and short of health care in North Carolina. When dealing with your elders and parents, understand they not always understand or see the world as you are living in. That they were raised in a world where silence meant some kind of safety and your skin is Lil John in the Library of Congress. There's no use in pretending it isn't there. Be patient. Do so with reverence. This will be processed. Understand that they must have known the challenges that would face a boy with skin like the night. You knew you'd have to choose what to give up for your freedom, that they would see this skin and hair first and your heart later. Dear son, native and in denial. The river overflows for you when you are around. Police remain silent. It is the only right you have. Treat them like God's cells, the hell to put you in. Say hello like you consider your freedom a privilege. Don't take offense when they look at you like they should know you already. Mistake you for brother, cousin, father. They like when you dance like that. Shake them chains. Drop that, shake them chains. I'm gone insane off the rattle. Somewhere I dance with the rain. Crazy reptilian brain. The weather be weathered these days. Barely there, like a lover lost. I love her like clouds. $1 million worth of pain. Make it rain. 40 acres in male shame. Ask him about auction blocks. Ask him about a Stagville plantation. Ask me about 400 years and the same philosophy. Ask me about Carolina clay stained with the blood of my ancestors. Ask me about keloids and how my skin bubbles to remind me of the lashes broke cast like Casper, a friendly ghost in the machine trying to figure out who I was, nigga. So in between life and from death, these stars and a scarred place. Damn, it don't seem like this world loved me like it used to. Damn, it don't seem like this state loved me like it used to. Damn, it don't seem like this building loved me like it used to. Don't hug me like it used to. Can't remember the last time it used to. So when I'm in Chapel Hill, I dance. I be polite. I mind them bleached manners. And I smile and keep walking. Even when they don't smile back.
Wow.
Yeah! Y'all ready? I know you're cold, so we closing. Let me ask you one question. If a call goes out, because we are fighting and fight these people, and we say we're gonna come here, and active civil district, cut that off, Eric, for a minute, or you, and then Phil, start back with y'all.
First of all, thank everybody for coming. Thank you, artists and supporters of the arts, for answering the call. Y'all have really made my heart truly, truly glad for all this artistic energy that's flowing. So we're gonna end on one song. I posted on Facebook some words. All of you may not have seen it, but the words are easy. I went down to the people's house. I took back what they stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my humanity. I went down to the people's house. I took back what they stole from me. 4 times now. It's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't no system gonna walk all over me. Okay, everybody got that? All right, we'll catch on.
Yes, sir.
Well, I went down to the people's house and I took back what they stole from me. Yes, dignity. My dignity. I took back my humanity.
I took back my humanity.
Went down to the people.
Went down to the people's house.
And I
took back what they stole from me.
And now it's under my feet.
It's under my feet. It's under my feet. It's under my feet.
Ain't no system gonna walk all over me.
I went down to the people's house and I took back what they stole from me. Yes, I took back my dignity and I took back my humanity. Yes, I went down to the people's house and I took back what they stole from me. And now it's under my feet. It's under my feet. It's under my feet. It's under my feet. Ain't no system gonna walk all over me. Let's go down to the governor's house. Well, I went down to the governor's house and I took back what he stole from me. Yes, I took back my dignity and I took back my humanity. Yes, I went down to the governor's house and I took back what he stole from me. And now it's under my feet. It's under my feet. It's under my feet. It's under my feet.